Okay, yeah. Yeah. So we are going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We just finished the 6th canto yesterday. In 6th canto, we read about Ajamil. Ajamil, how by chanting the holy name, he was saved from Yamadutas. Then we read about how Indra, he got cursed by Brihaspati. Well, not cursed. Indra offended Brihaspati. And that's how he lost to the demons. And the demons became powerful. And then we heard Vritrasur and Indra fighting. And Vritrasur giving such nice knowledge to Indra. Then we heard how Vritrasur was a great devotee because he was Chitraketu. Then we heard about Chitraketu and the wonderful knowledge that Narad Muni gave to Chitraketu. Then we heard about the birth of the Maruts. And that's all that we covered in the 6th canto. So now we are going to have this, we're going to continue reading, and we're on the 7th canto now, the Science of God. That's the name of this canto, is the Science of God. So chapter 1, the Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. In this chapter, in response to a question by Maharaj Parikshit, Sukadev Goswami gives his conclusions concerning how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although the super soul, friend and protector of everyone, killed the Daityas, the demons, for the sake of Indra, the king of heaven. In his statements, he totally refutes the arguments of people in general who accuse the Supreme Lord of partiality. Sukadev Goswami proves that because the body of the conditioned soul is infected by the three qualities of nature, dualities arise, such as enmity and friendship, attachment and detachment. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, there are no such dualities. Even eternal time cannot control the activities of the Lord. Eternal time is created by the Lord and it acts under his control. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore, is always transcendental to the influence of the modes of nature, Maya, the Lord's external energy, which acts in creation and annihilation. Thus, all the demons killed by the Supreme Lord attain salvation immediately. So we are going to hear about this in more detail. This is just an introduction that Srila Prabhupada is telling us what we are going to hear about in this chapter. So the first question that Parikshit puts to Sukadev Goswami, and Sukadev Goswami is answering that how the Lord is not partial actually. The second question raised by Parikshit Maharaj concerns how Shishupal, although inimical toward Krishna from his very childhood and always blaspheming Krishna, attained salvation in oneness when Krishna killed him. Sukadev Goswami explains that because of their offenses at the feet of devotees, two attendants of the Lord in Vaikuntha, named Jay and Vijay, became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in Satyug, Ravan and Kumbhakaran in the next Yug, Trita Yug, and Shishupal and Dandavakar at the end of Dwapar Yug. Because of their fruitive acts, Jay and Vijay agreed to become the Lord's enemies. And when killed in that mentality, they attained salvation and oneness. Thus, even if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in envy, he attains salvation. What then is to be said of devotees who always engage in the Lord's service with love and faith? So the demons who feel envy towards Krishna, when Krishna kills them, they get liberated. Getting liberated is not easy. It's a very difficult process and it's a very high position. And the demons are just getting it like that. Why? Because they're thinking of Krishna. Then Prabhupada is saying, what is said to the devotees who are thinking of Krishna with love? The demons are thinking of Krishna with envy, and they are getting liberated. So what about the devotees who are thinking of Krishna with love? What a high destination they will get. So we begin with the text one. Shri Rajo Vachan
Shri Rajo Vacha
Samapriya Surit Brahman
Samapriya Suri Brahman
Bhutanam Bhagavan Swayam
Bhutanam Bhagavan Swayam
Indrasyarthe Katham Daitan
Indrasyarthe Katam Daityan
Avadit Vishamo Yatha.
Avadit Vishamo Yatha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit inquired, my dear Brahmana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, being everyone's well-wisher, is equal and extremely dear to everyone. How, then, did he become partial like a common man for the sake of Indra and thus kill Indra's enemies? How can a person equal to everyone be partial to some and inimical toward others? So Parikshit is saying, why is God taking Indra's side? And then he's killing the others. So like this, he's being partial. He's showing favor to someone and he's being unfair to another. What is happening? He's God. He should be equal to everyone, no? So in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, the Lord says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu na medveshu stina priya. I'm equal to everyone. No one is dear to me, nor is anyone my enemy. Krishna is saying, I'm equal. No one is my friend, no one is my enemy. But one who is a friend in me, I'm a friend in him. One who is my devotee, I'm friends with him. So in the previous canto, however, it has been observed that the Lord sided with Indra by killing the demons on his account. Atta putra diti shakra parshani grahena vishnuna. And this question was also raised, right? Oh, that how come, why is the Lord always taking Indra's side? So therefore, the Lord was clearly partial to Indra, although he is the super soul in everyone's heart. The soul is extremely dear to everyone, and similarly, the super soul is also dear to everyone. Thus, there cannot be any faulty action on the part of the super soul. The Lord is always kind to all living entities, irrespective of form and situation. Yet he took the side of Indra just like an ordinary friend. This was the subject of Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry. As a devotee of Lord Krishna, he knew very well that Krishna cannot be partial to anyone. But when he saw that Krishna acted as the enemy of the demons, he was somewhat doubtful. Therefore, he posed this question to Sukadev Goswami for a clear answer. So he has a doubt. He's not challenging that, oh, how can Krishna do this? What is happening? No. He just has a doubt and he wants to clarify that he's supposed to be equal, but seems to be he's partial. So how do we because we did see, right? Again and again, he was saving Indra. Indra wanted to fight Vritrasur. Then Indra also with his Maruts. Uh, and then, right? So we saw a couple of things, uh, that Krishna, that Indra had killed Vishwarup. Yeah, so with so many instances. So a devotee cannot accept that Lord Vishnu has material qualifications. Maharaj Parikshit knew perfectly well that Lord Vishnu, being transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. But to confirm his conviction, he wanted to hear from the authority, Sukadev Goswami. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Samasya Katham Vaishamyam. Since the Lord is equally disposed toward everyone, how can he be partial? Priyasya Katham Asureshu Priti Abhava the Lord being the super soul, is extremely dear to everyone, why then should the Lord display unsympathetic behavior toward the asuras? So just as the soul, the soul, why is the body dear to us? Because we are thinking we are the body. We, the soul, are inside the body, actually. So the soul is very dear to us. Similarly, the super soul is also very dear to us. So then Prabhupada is saying, so if the super soul is dear to everyone, even to the asuras, even to the demigods, then why is he being partial to one and he's being unfair to another? How can that be? How can we understand this? So how is this impartial? Suhridasya katham tesha asauhardam. Since the Lord says that he is Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, the well-wisher of all living entities, how could he act with partiality by killing demons? These questions arose in the heart of Parikshit Maharaj, and therefore he inquired from Sukadev Goswami. So, isn't it? I mean, this question was also being raised earlier. So now we are going to read what happens. Nahi asyartha suragane
Nahi asyartha suragane
sakshan nishre
sakshan nirshresatmana
neva sure vidvesho
neva surebhyo vidvesho
nodvegascha anugasya hi.
nodvegascha gunasyachi
Lord Vishnu himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the reservoir of all pleasure. Therefore, what benefit would he derive from siding with the demigods? What interest would he fulfill in this way? Since the Lord is transcendental, why should he fear the asuras? And how could he be envious of them? So we should always remember the distinction between spiritual and material. That which is material is infected by material qualities, but these qualities cannot touch that which is spiritual or transcendental. So Parikshit Maharaj is saying that the Supreme Lord is always happy. He has nothing to do with this material world. All the pleasure is coming from him. So why would he be envious towards the demons? Why is he favoring the demigods? Why is he getting involved in this way? What's happening? He's on the transcendental platform. Nothing should be affecting him. So why is he doing this? Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Prabhupada is saying, first of all, we have to understand that material world are these material qualities. All the envy and the partiality, everything comes on the material platform. But spiritual platform, on to the spirit soul, all this does not envy, anger, pride, lust, fear. The soul does not have all this. Krishna also doesn't have all these things. He's completely transcendental. Krishna is absolute, whether he is in the material world or spiritual world. So Krishna, even when he comes to the material world, he's still acting on the spiritual platform because he never comes under the control of the modes of nature. He's always transcendental. He never gets affected by the dualities. We get affected. So when we see, because he is absolute, he's a complete whole, he's absolute. So when we see partiality in Krishna, this vision is due to his external energy. Otherwise, how could his enemies attain salvation after being killed by him? Everyone who deals with the Supreme Personality of Godhead gradually acquires the qualities of the Lord. The more one advances in spiritual consciousness, the less he is affected by the duality of material qualities. So the more one becomes attached to Krishna, the more one serves Krishna, the more one remembers Krishna, the more one can get qualities like Krishna. We say, right, we are one in quality, different in quantity. We can never become Krishna, but we do have Krishna's qualities in very minute degrees. So the more we get in touch with him, the more we can revive these transcendental qualities. The Supreme Lord, therefore, must certainly be freed from these qualities. His enmity and friendship are external features presented by the material energy. He's always transcendental, he's absolute, whether he kills or bestows his favor. So, one who is in touch with Krishna is getting purified. So, how pure is Krishna himself? He's completely pure. He has completely all these transcendental qualities, the spiritual qualities, not material, spiritual. So it is because of this Mahamaya, the external energy, that we are thinking Krishna is partial, Krishna is killing the demons, Krishna seems to be envious, but the demons are also getting liberated. It's not that because getting liberation, not easy, no? Liberation is the spiritual sky. So you have to be greatly qualified to go to the spiritual sky. So the demons, because they just come in touch with Krishna, they can go there. Envy and friendship arise in one who is imperfect. We fear our enemies because in the material world, we are always in need of help. The Lord, however, does not need anyone's help, for he is Atmaram. It's true, no? We always need help. That's why we're always fearful. We are not independent. We may think we are independent, but we are dependent on so many other factors, so many other living entities. So ultimately, we are actually dependent on Krishna. And because we don't understand that, then we are fearful. The Lord, however, does not need anyone's help. He's Atmaram. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Tad aham bhakti uparitam ashnami prayatatmana. If a devotee offers me with devotion a little leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I shall accept it. Why does the Lord say this? Is he dependent on the offering of the devotee? He's not actually dependent, but he likes to be dependent upon his devotee. This is his mercy. Similarly, he does not fear the asuras. Thus, there is no question of partiality in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are hearing the same thing as we read a few days ago, that Krishna is completely independent. He's Atmaram, but he likes to be dependent on his devotee. This is his relationship with his devotee. Yeah, it's a loving relationship. It's reciprocal between Krishna and his devotee. It's their relationship. Krishna does not need anything. He doesn't need a leaf or a flower. Everything belongs to him. So, but he is dependent on the devotee, and that is his mercy. We were hearing Prabhupada saying sometimes Krishna comes in the dream and says, "Oh, I'm buried here in the ground. My deity is here. Take me out. I'm feeling hot." Sometimes Krishna will tell the devotee, "I'm feeling too hot. Go get me chandan. My skin is burning." So different reciprocations between Krishna and the devotee. And Srila Prabhupada says, one who's actually in this relationship can only understand it. Otherwise, for others, very difficult to understand this relationship. That, oh, how come God, who's completely independent, is behaving in such a way? But the pure devotee, he's completely enjoying this relationship with Krishna. So similarly, as Krishna has no need to depend on anyone, he has no need to fear anyone. He's not killing the demons out of fear. He's not, we act out of fear because we are afraid. Krishna is, everything is under his control. Time itself is under his control. Death personified is in his control. Then why should he fear the demons? Is that okay? Comments, questions? Yeah. Okay, so we go on then. Itina sumaha bhaga
Itina
Itina sumahavaga
Narayan
narayan
Anaprati
narayana gunan prati
Narayana gunan prati
samshaya sumahan jatas
samsaya sumahan jatas
tad bhavams chetum arhase.
tat bhavamschetum arhati.
Greatly fortunate and learned Brahmana. Whether Narayan is partial or impartial has become a subject of great doubt. Kindly dispel my doubt with positive evidence that Narayan is always neutral and equal to everyone. Since Lord Narayan is absolute, his transcendental qualities are described as one. Thus, his punishments and his offerings of favor are both of the same value. Essentially, his inimical actions are not displays of enmity toward his so-called enemies, but in the material field one thinks that Krishna is favorable to devotees and unfavorable to non-devotees. When Krishna finally instructs in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityagya, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja, this is meant not only for Arjuna, but for every living entity within this universe. So Srila Prabhupada is saying it's out of our material vision we are thinking Krishna is partial, that he's favoring someone, he's inimical to someone. Prabhupada is explaining when Krishna is giving Bhagavad Gita knowledge, he's speaking to Arjuna, yes, but it's not only limited to Arjuna, it's meant for everyone. It's not that only it's meant for the devotees and it's only meant for the demigods. No, each and every one has equal opportunity to go back to Krishna. Then it's our choice whether we want to accept Krishna's instructions or no. Krishna does not interfere with them. Krishna gives air to everyone, whether one is his devotee or no, air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat. He does not say, oh, you're not my devotee, I'm not going to give you this. No, he gives. He heals everyone. And he's giving the instruction of Bhagavad Gita to everyone.
Hare Krishna. But Krishna
Hare
is
Krishna.
favorable, right, to his devotees. He's more
Yeah,
favorable, right?
yeah, yes, he is. So he's not partial to anyone, but yet, because his devotees have this relationship with him, so naturally he also has this relationship with the devotee. But it does not mean that he cannot, that someone today who's not a devotee of Krishna cannot have this relationship. He can also become the devotee of Krishna and he can also have the relationship.
Mm.
So that equal opportunity is there for everyone.
So the reciprocation has to be there. Right?
Yeah, yes. That's what we are, yes. We if we say, oh, but Krishna, it's only because only those people, those are the special people, it's not for us. No, we can also, if we come forward to Krishna, Krishna, I also want to have this relationship with you. Then Krishna is waiting with open arms to reciprocate. Yes. So it's both. We can look at it both ways that yes, Krishna is impartial, yet he is partial.
But in the
Right?
eyes of the common people, they feel that Krishna is partial, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Because, oh, how you're taking one side, you're killing another one,
You're
So
killing
he's.
also.
So if we
Right.
look at this way, he's partial. Oh, but if we look at it in a broader way, oh, he's impartial.
Right.
Right.
He's ready to give himself to everyone. But yeah, you have to you have to have that relationship, right?
Yeah. Because he cannot force everyone. He can't force anyone, hey, you must have this relationship with me. You must. He's not putting a gun to our head and saying that. That he's leaving it up to us, because when you love someone, you give them free will. So he loves us so much. So he's given us this free will, whether we want to be with him or we want to be away from him.
Yeah.
So if we want to be with him, he's personally taking care of the devotee. And then someone, I'm sorry, doesn't want to be with him, he still takes care, but under this agency of Maya Devi, as we were saying. Sorry, that day, it's either the mother is personally taking care of the child or she's putting the nanny to take care of the child, because the child doesn't want to be with the mother. So, but the mother's still concerned. Somebody should take care of you. So I'm going to put you a nanny there to take care of you. Yeah. Okay. Shri Vacha.
Shri Rishir Uvacha.
Sadhu Prishtam Maharaja.
Sadhu Prishtam Maharaja.
Haresh Charitam Adbhutam.
Haresh Charitam Adbhutam.
Yad Bhagavata Mahatmyam.
Yad Bhagavata Mahatmyam.
Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhanam.
Bhagavad Bhakti Vardhanam.
Giyate Paramam Punyam.
Giyate Paramam Punyam.
Rishibir Naradadibihi.
Rishibhi Naradadibihi.
Natva Krishnaya Munaye.
Natva Krishnayam Munaye.
Kathi Ishye Hare Katham.
Kathayishe Hare Katham.
And the great sage Sukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, you have put before me an excellent question. Discourses concerning the activities of the Lord, in which the glories of his devotees are also found, are extremely pleasing to devotees. Such wonderful topics always counteract the miseries of the materialistic way of life. Therefore, great sages like Narad always speak upon Srimad Bhagavatam, because it gives one the facility to hear and chant about the wonderful activities of the Lord. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, and then begin describing topics concerning the activities of Lord Hari." So even the gopis say, "Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam." That your topics, they are the ones, this world, everyone is suffering, but by hearing your katha, one can feel satisfied, one can feel happy. Otherwise, in this material world is called a blazing forest fire. Samsara dava nalalita loka. So, but what is that can actually relieve us from this suffering is hearing the glories of Lord Krishna. Whenever the glories of Lord Krishna are there, the devotees are also up there. So Sukadev Goswami, he is happy that Parikshit Maharaj is putting such a nice question. So he can speak more about the glories of the Lord. You say, even Narad Muni is always speaking the glories of the Lord, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And he wants to offer his obeisances to Srila Vyasadeva, the original compiler of the Bhagavatam. In this verse, Sukadev Goswami offers his respectful obeisances to Krishna Yamunaye, which means to Krishna Dev Dvaipayana Vyas. One must first offer one's respectful obeisances to one's spiritual master. Sukadev Goswami's spiritual master is his father, Vyasadeva. And therefore, he first offers his respectful obeisances to Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, and then begins describing topics of Lord Hari. So, offering respects to the spiritual master. Srila Vyasadeva is the spiritual master of Sukadev Goswami. We say Om Agyana Timirandasya. It's offering respects to the spiritual master whenever there is an opportunity to hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord. We must take it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends Kirtaniya Sada Hari. One should always engage in Krishna Katha by chanting and talking about Krishna and hearing about him. That is the only occupation of a Krishna conscious person. So the only occupation of a Krishna conscious person is to hear and chant. Then somebody may say, but I have so many other things to do, I can't hear and chant the whole day. Yeah, but we do everything else so that we can hear and chant. And we try to do everything else as a service to Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure, so that we can hear and chant. And hearing and chanting helps us to do everything for Krishna's pleasure. So it goes hand in hand. Nirgunopi hi ajo vyakto.
Nirguno pihi ajo vyakto.
Bhagavan prakrite para.
Bhagavan prakrite para.
Swamaya gunam avishya.
Swamaya gunam avishya.
Bhadya bhadakatam gata.
Badhya bada katam kata.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is always transcendental to material qualities, and therefore he is called Nirguna, or without qualities. Because he is unborn, he does not have a material body to be subjected to attachment and hatred. Although the Lord is always above material existence, through his spiritual potency he appeared and acted like an ordinary human being, accepting duties and obligations, apparently like a conditioned soul. So-called attachment, detachment, and obligations pertain to the material nature, which is an emanation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But whenever the Lord descends and acts in this material world, he does so in his spiritual position. So Krishna comes to the material world, but it doesn't mean he stops being God. He's always God. He takes birth to he takes birth. Yashoda and Nanda Baba, his parents, Devki Vasudeva, his parents. But it doesn't mean he stops being God. He's still God. These are his pastimes that he's displaying in front of us. Doesn't mean he's not God anymore. He's still God. Like Prabhupada would explain that a high court judge, he goes home and he is putting his grandson, he's becoming a horse for his grandson. The high court judge is on all fours, kneeling on the floor. The grandson is sitting on him, telling him, go here, go there. But it doesn't mean he stops being the high court judge, He still is the high court judge. But he's having this relationship with his grandson, so he's playing with his grandson. Why not? So Krishna is coming to the material world. He's showing us his relationships with his devotees, but he doesn't stop being God. Although his activities materially appear different, spiritually they are absolute and non-different. Thus, it is an imposition upon the Supreme Lord to say that he is envious of anyone or friendly to anyone. So he is above the duality. He is above the enemy and friendship. He's transcendental. In Bhagavad Gita 9:11, the Lord clearly says, Avajananti mamuda manushim tanum ashritam. Fools deride me when I descend in a human form. Krishna appears on this earth or within this universe without any change in his spiritual body or spiritual qualities. So Krishna is saying those are foolish who don't understand that I'm still God. Even though I'm coming here to the material world, I'm coming. And this is my original transcendental form. It's not material. But if someone thinks it's material, then it's on their part. They are not able to understand me as I am. His qualities, Krishna never takes material qualities, always spiritual qualities. Indeed, he is never influenced by the material qualities. He is always free from such qualities, but he appears to act under material influence. This understanding is arupita, or an imposition. Therefore, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam. Whatever he does, being always transcendental, has nothing to do with material qualities. So Prabhupada is saying that to say that Krishna has material qualities, material bodies, he's acting on a material platform, is putting an imposition on him. Krishna is not like that. Because we don't understand something, then we may, because of our own misunderstanding, we may come to a wrong conclusion, you know. So we need to get the correct understanding. Evam yoveti tattvaha, only devotees can understand the truth of how he acts. The fact is that Krishna is never partial to anyone. He is always equal to everyone. But because of imperfect vision, influenced by material qualities, one imposes material qualities upon Krishna. And when one does so, he becomes a muda, a fool. When one can properly understand the truth, one becomes devoted and nirguna, free from material qualities. Simply by understanding the activities of Krishna, one can become transcendental. And as soon as one is transcendental, he is fit to be transferred to the transcendental world. So Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam. Just try to understand that my nature, my activities, my appearance are all transcendental. By understanding this, we can go to the spiritual world. We don't need to be in the material world anymore. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, one who understands the activities of Lord in truth is transferred to the spiritual world after he gives up his material body. Any questions or comments? No? So we are going to read tomorrow in further detail how Sukadev Goswami is going to explain that how the Lord is not partial. It's we are looking at it from this material perspective. That's why we think he's partial, that he's acting like an ordinary person, but he is transcendental. Never gets under the modes.
Right. So nirguna here, it means like that he's transcendental to material qualities. And that's why he's called, right? Nirguna. Without
Nirguna. Yeah, means no material qualities.
Qualities, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
It doesn't
He
mean
has
that he's without quality, but he doesn't have the material qualities. He's always transcendental, right?
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Yes. Because someone may think, oh, he has no qualities, he has nothing, then
Yeah.
no. Yes, thank you. He has all the spiritual qualities. He has no material qualities. So he's above the dualities, desire, happiness, distress, enemy, friend. He's above all these dualities. So thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.